Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new character showcase for LEGO Marvel Avengers, and today we're taking a look at the one and the only Hulk killer character. Now, I was actually very surprised, but there was a bunch of people asking me to do a showcase for this character. I guess mainly because of the name. It's kind of startling, the Hulk killer. I mean, come on, who is this character? Don't really know much about it, and to be honest, I didn't know much about him either. I had to actually look up the character and kind of find out about him, what he's exactly all about. This, by the way, is the version that we see in the 616 Earth, so keep that in mind that it is actually in the main universe of Marvel, so that's pretty cool that he's actually a main universe type character, so that's really neat. And overall, he's a really weird looking character because, well, the main reason for it is more so because he kind of reminds me of the Red Hulk. I mean, that's the obvious comparison that you could think of. You could say, well, you know, Hulk Killer would be very fitting for the Red Hulk to even be called that. And interestingly enough, it was actually General Ross, who is the Red Hulk, who reactivates the Hulk Killer personality or the Hulk Killer invention, because this guy is actually a humanoid type character, which means he's partially a robot that was created by Leader. Leader is, of course, if you don't know who he is, he's one of the rivals of the Hulk, this guy right here. You might have seen him in the there was like a 90, I think it was 90s, I'm pretty sure, Hulk TV show. Maybe it was even 80s or something like that, but I remember seeing like just very few episodes of it every now and then. But essentially, the Leader creates this guy and titles him and gives him a name by the name of Hulk Killer. Now, he's actually put on the bench for a little while, and then General Ross brings him back to life and brings him back to operation in order to fight and combat the Hulk. This guy actually does end up at some point in the comics going completely insane, and which is not surprising with a name like Hulk Killer. You know, you'd think that at some point something's gonna go wrong. It's like when you have something with the name Killer in its name, most likely you could expect something bad to happen, and it certainly does. And luckily, the Hulk is able to actually take him down. Now, the interesting thing is that with a name like Hulk Killer, obviously he is built up to take on the Hulk, and it is kind of cool because he can not only can he fight the regular Hulk, but he actually is essentially equipped with all the tools to fight any Hulk. So he could take on She-Hulk or Abomination or any other character that is kind of in that Hulk type class, because he does have all those powers. But he does have one major flaw to him, or one major weakness, and that is the fact that he is a robot, and therefore at points in time when the battle gets very heated, or they reach kind of a big pivot or a big component of the fight, he short circuits, and that causes him to lose plenty of fights. So that is exactly how he was taken down by the Hulk. So very interesting character overall, just the kind of concept of the character I really like. And then on top of that, the visual for the character is really interesting as well, because you gotta admire the fact that this guy was actually introduced prior to the Red Hulk. Now, in the comics, it didn't look nearly as much as he does here, because obviously this is a Lego design. So in this Lego design, he does look, well, quite similar to the Hulk. I mean, he shares most body parts with the Hulk, as you can see, the arms and the torso and everything. So he's super duper similar to the Hulk. In the comics, he didn't look as similar, which is why I'm sure that you wouldn't make the comparison between him and the Red Hulk as you would nowadays. But looking at this game, like for example, when we look at the Hulk Killer here, who looks terrifying, and then we bring up the Red Hulk, for example, right here, you can see that there's obviously some things that you could be like, oh yeah, that's pretty similar actually, and you'd be correct. I would definitely not argue that, because I personally do agree with that as well. Now, I will say that there's something terrifying about the design of this guy in terms of just the ginormous head that he has. I mean, like, look at that. I don't know, he looks pretty terrifying and pretty awesome at the same time, if that's even possible. I'm not even sure. But let's get to the ability side of things for this guy. Essentially, what he can do is obviously have the close combat attacks. You saw him already leaping around the city, so he does have the super jump that the Hulk has. He does have the Thunder Punch attack as well, so if you have a target in front of you, you double tap. Okay, for some reason that did not clear it out. There we go. And you could go ahead and do a little bit of splash damage with that. There's also also a jump down elbow drop, boom, which looks sweet. I do like that quite a bit. He doesn't have a targeted attack or anything like that, but you can actually dig up a giant piece of the rock or of the floor below you. It could be the floor, the ground. You really have to be standing, depending on what structure you're standing, this ability will be active or not. So you have to be standing on something that is quote-unquote breakable, so to speak. So that's how this particular ability works. Now, once you have it selected, all you have to do is go ahead and pick a target and throw. And as you saw right there, again, very interestingly enough, is the fact that he even has the exact same pointer as the Red Hulk with the triple red fist rotating around. So obviously, there are going to be quite a few comparisons between the Hulk Killer and the Red Hulk, especially within the context of this game. So with that in mind, let's get to some actual gameplay here. It looks like there is someone in trouble over here, so let's help out. Some agent. I wonder if we have enough for move. There we go. Let's see what his combos are like. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Hopefully you're fine, because that guy isn't. I bet you he regrets messing around with you, that's for sure. All right, so let's see. Let's see if we can find something else that we could actually discover anything. By the way, I know that some of you guys are going to ask, well, can he transform into anyone? No, you cannot. So, for example, when we're playing as General Ross, aka the Red Hulk, you can't transform into General Ross and vice versa. You cannot transform the Hulk Killer because this is how he is. He's a humanoid that is fully assembled for the purpose, sole purpose, of destroying Hulks. And that's why, obviously, his name is quite on the nose, and that's Hulk Killer. That's basically why he's called that, because that's all his main purpose is. Now, I will say, it would be kind of interesting to see a comic book, maybe a more modern take on the character, where they could explore that a little bit, you know, kind of explore the whole notion of being created just for the sole purpose of destroying this one class of characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and maybe kind of explore that in a more intriguing way and be like, okay, what could we do with this character? Maybe he becomes a little bit more conscientious of his actions or something like that. So I would definitely actually like to see a modern take on the Hulk Killer, because from what I understand, he really has not appeared in any significant storylines in a long time. So I think, look, the Hulk needs a character, usually other characters, to fight, so why not let it be the Hulk Killer? Obviously, I think the biggest thing is that he has a really goofy name, because, like, Hulk Killer, it's, like, not very practical. It's like you literally describing what you are meant or what your purpose is for. But I think that modern take on the character could possibly actually explore that and maybe give him a different name. You know, he finds out that he actually could have a different name instead of just basically being called what his life purpose is. You know, like I don't know, if you work somewhere or something like that and that's all you do in your life, you're not going to call yourself by the name of your job. So I think it would be kind of really interesting as a character to explore him and find out maybe an intriguing take on him. Maybe Mark Waid or someone like that could take on the character and put together a pretty good storyline with him. Overall, though, I really like the character now because I found out about him in a little bit more depth, and I think he is, again, a character that has a lot of potential within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sorry, not cinematic. Well, actually, I guess in the Cinematic Universe as well. Why not? That could be kind of cool as well. If they ever do actually end up doing a Hulk movie, he might be a pretty good or decent, at least, villain for the Hulk to go at it, so why not? But nonetheless, there you guys have it. Let me know what you guys think of the one and only Hulk Killer. Do you guys like him better than the Red Hulk? And do you agree with me whether or not you would love to hear more about the character and kind of find out maybe a little bit more interesting storylines about him in the more modern comics? With that in mind, ladies and gents, as always, don't forget to drop a like if you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will hopefully catch all of you lovely folks next time. Peace out. See you laters, alligators. Bye-bye, everyone.